Yeah, so I guess about 6 weeks ago, I was on my way out here to archery hunt, and then wildfires, all the smoke and everything closed down my hunting unit. Long story short, went to Colorado, killed my first elk, and then now here we are mid-October. A lot of that land is now open back up. Fish and Game said that I could take a refund for my mule deer tag, but I don't know. After thinking about it, I think I just really regret not going. So, about to make the 30-some hour drive again and hopefully punch that deer tag after all. Hunting mule deer in late October is tough. Bucks aren't bachelored up like they used to be, and they're also not quite in the rut yet. All right, gonna get the gun set up on here, and they like to spend a lot of their time in the thick timber. Best bet is to spend a lot of time behind the glass and try to catch them at first and last light coming out to feed. I don't know, I just like to hang food. Not even like for a predator thing, but just for like mice and whatnot. And I just really don't like to leave it in the tent, because they will eat through your tent. And that's no good. So I think my plan is, like, because I got no water up here at all, so I gotta pack in all my water. I think what I'm gonna do is just, for this hunt, I'm better off just being mobile. It's not terribly difficult to get away from people when you get into deer country. But what I don't want to do is pigeonhole myself. So I think it's just gonna be spiking out a day or a couple days at a time. I'm at the head of this north drainage, all these little micro drainages coming down, and it just looks really good. So I decided to post up here. I'm just camped right back up over the top there, and I think I got this whole side to myself. I want to at least spend a morning and an evening in here, and then a bunch of other drainages on this north side. A little bit of timber, not heavily thick timber, but you know, enough for deer to hang out. So I want to make sure I'm glassing in there too, and just being real methodical. When you drive over 2,000 miles away and put random points on a random map deep in the mountains and public land, drive all the way out here, park the truck, pack in, go glass, sit down in that drainage and see deer, makes you feel like you're doing something right. Gotta get on a buck though. There's just so much country to glass. I'm trying to pick some spots, but also make sure I'm glassing in the timber too. It's just so important to be disciplined behind the glass. There's just so much country to look at. Easily could miss something. All right, so I just did the morning glass here. Actually, last night I got on a few deer, a couple does down in here. I did see a deer in the afternoon way out on this point. I'm not sure what it was. And then right at about 6:30, I was over there glassing up back in that bowl, and saw a couple does bedded. And then a little bit later saw a mom with a couple fawns and Forky. So first buck, not the buck I'm after. Then spent the morning glassing in here, just trying to focus straight down in here. Hopefully something come out and get a shot at. But I hadn't picked up anything this morning. So it's about 9:30 right now. The sunrise doesn't really come up till 8, so it's still good glassing right now. It's 9:30. I'm gonna trek back over here, see if I can catch anything up in that bowl, because I have a feeling I'm gonna be bouncing out of here and maybe try to work this other ridge. It's tough when you're seeing deer, but not the deer you want to be seeing. So it's like just enough to like keep you around, but not enough for you to like make a drastic move. And a drastic move might be what you need. Sometimes like when I see no animals, I think that that's better than just seeing a few, because that's when I know I'm just gonna bomb the hell out of here. But right now it's like I'm in deer country, picking out some, not a ton, and not what I'm looking for. So that's what makes this tough. Back at camp, midday here, just trying to think about what I want to do next. Just checked the inReach. It looks like we are getting some heavy snow tonight. Or might just be a wintry mix. We'll see. So went around and grabbed some firewood just in case that's needed. All right, so I got the snow I was hoping for last night. Came in, got a good layer of fresh snow, climbed up on this ridge this morning before light, and I'm just totally socked in. Can't see more than 100 yards or so. The sun's now just coming up over this one ridge. I mean, it's already been light out for a good 30 minutes. I just can't see much. So I don't want to go much further, because I know right here I should be able to glass back into each pocket in here. I got water and food for all day. I'm gonna still hunt this ridge and then glass wherever tonight. And if I come up with nothing, I'm getting in the truck and going somewhere else. but just embracing the adventure and just trying to get some good buck country and just keep moving and staying positive, and hopefully we'll turn one up. So that's the plan. Things can get really tough when you're not seeing deer like you want to be seeing. A lot of these backcountry hunts, especially by yourself, can be a big mental game. Can't see anything. Awesome. I found myself trying to put a lot of positive stuff in my brain as far as trying to get on a good shooter buck. Gonna glass up a good buck. Gonna get in tight on him, make a good shot, and yeah, hopefully we get a shooter buck. We're gonna go kill buck. Today's the day, 100%. Calling it. Hopefully pick out a shooter buck. This all lifts. Get the spotter out. Glass a good shooter buck. And that's all she wrote. I set up the glass this morning in this one drainage. And only after about like 30 minutes, I was like, F this. Like, glass in this big country, probably gonna miss something. And they're gonna be on their feet, first sight and last sight, especially a mature buck. So I was like, no, I'm walking out this ridge and I'm gonna still hunt and pop in all these micro drainages. And sure enough, I get to the very end here. There's a deer down in this drainage, ranged real quick because I was like, by himself, it's gotta be a buck. It was a 216. And then I went to get my gun up, and when he turned his head, I saw antlers. And I'm just so mad at myself because then he just started bouncing. I'm over here trying to relocate that buck, and I don't think I'm gonna get on him. And it makes sense, these bucks, like, I'm just way out on this point and hide way up high in these little micro drainages. Like, I knew it. So now I'm torn between, do I spend more days here just on this one ridge, maybe pick up this buck or another buck, or go to a different area and maybe still use this same hunt tactic just on a different ridge. So I don't know. Oh man. So it's like the toughest call in hunting. Should I stay or should I go? And that's easy when you're not seeing any deer or anything. But when you're seeing some, makes it really tough. I chased that one buck, but the reality is this is like coming up on my 5th day in this area, and it's just been a bunch of does and that small buck and then this opportunity here. And I think there's better odds to be had. So I'm gonna pack up and check out a new area. Probably sat here for a good 30 minutes back and forth on it, but I think I would regret not moving. So gonna make the move, stick with it, and give her hell. All right, this is a phenomenal spot, I think. So I drove my truck this other area, went all the way up, and then now I packed in water and a couple days of food. I'm just gonna spike out up here, but I think I gotta take my time getting in here. I mean, I'm in good deer country already. You know, lately I've actually been on a big kick learning about the old frontiersmen and mountain men like Hugh Glass, and Kit Carson, and Jedediah Smith. And it's just cool to think about those stories when I'm out here. One of my favorites is Kit Carson's midnight crawl. We were fighting Mexico over California. They had to send somebody behind enemy lines to sneak into San Diego to get reinforcements. And Kit Carson volunteered. Snuck behind enemy lines, crossed 30 some odd miles in the desert, and got to San Diego in a day on not much, and who knows for shoes. I don't know, when I'm out here, I'm tired, thirsty, cold. It's just something to think about, to tell yourself, you know, suck it up. You know, what's cool about making this big journey from back east, I'm dang near almost in Oregon, so coming up through Idaho. Kit Carson was actually the guide for John Fremont, and they were sent out to discover a path to modern day Oregon to settle the land out there. And that's what they refer to as the Oregon Trail. So, pretty cool stuff to think about. As I drive my Tacoma all the way out here to find a deer. So I decided to just pop in the timber, still hunt, and post up, like still hunt, ambush. And it just looks really good in here, and I think this is my best chance to get on a buck. I just gotta be slow and take my time. It's so quiet in here. We'll see what happens. I just blew out a stud 4-point. Oh, big forks. He was right in this timber behind me, and I was creeping down. I just saw a really good trail. It's so hard to glass. These ridges are straight drops. And I just said, screw it, and I just was still hunting. And he started bouncing before I even saw him, 75 yards from me, and he just ran out this way, but I lost him immediately. And so frustrating. Really good buck. That's how steep this is. I mean, I was way up top. I followed just all this. There's scat and there's tracks all over into this timber. And then I bumped him in here, and he ran back out this way. All right, well, I spent pretty much all day yesterday looking for that buck and never got back on him. I glassed 4 does in the morning and then nothing the rest of the day. Got up this morning, glassed, saw nothing, and now I just feel like I'm totally getting my butt kicked. I think I'm gonna move again, try somewhere new, but got bad storms rolling in tonight. I mean, this is it right here. A few days left. Temps are really gonna drop the next few days. I spiked out here for a couple days, no water. I'm out of what I brought with me. So that's the reality. Public land, do-it-yourself Western hunting. It's not pretty, and it's not easy. This is it. You're either in or you're out. And the last few days here, I felt like I was really chasing my tail. I was bouncing around a lot, driving through the night. Kept trying to pack into a new spot, get a few miles in, glass for first light, as if every new spot was like a new hand of blackjack, and I was just trying to beat the odds. Seeing some tracks, a lot of elk sign. I don't know. At least 2 dozen elk Came out here.
But at this point, I was getting really pessimistic. The weather was starting to get really rough, and I had already blown my 2 good chances at shooter bucks.
These hikes back in the dark, climbing out of here by myself, are getting old. Update. Currently raining / hailing. Took me over 2.5 hours to get back to the tent. Bunch of snow, cold, wet, tired, dehydrated, and no plan for tomorrow. Let's do it. Oh, and no deer spotted tonight. And that's the thing about this late season stuff. Stuff's not gonna dry. Boots are gonna stay froze. Things are gonna stay wet and froze and all that good stuff. So, let's do it. All right, it's the morning of day 9. When I hiked back to camp last night, I did cut some tracks in this area. And under all those little pines where deer, a couple tracks were like coming down. I'm just gonna post up here for the morning and then see what happens. It's just relentless up here. It's been all day. Snowy morning. Gotta get somewhere where I can see good. They gotta be just running down the mountain everywhere, right? Just out here, socked in, won't stop snowing. Got my stuff underneath the tarp here. It just sucks. I feel like you're losing time.
And that's really what it was the last few days. Saw a lot of elk coming down, mostly just some smaller bulls and cows and calves with them.
I don't have my spotter, but that's all I'm doing, playing these east-facing or south-facing slopes right there. I mean, little herd of elk. I see a spike in there, and then cows and calves, but God, that's all I'm praying for right now. Just give me a buck somewhere in here. I don't see anybody else out in the mountains right now. Like, come on. I dropped down to some lower country. I got an elk barking at me. She's not happy.
And then as a last-ditch effort, since I was struggling to find deer anywhere, I packed up all my stuff in the middle of the night and drove to a whole new part of the unit, just trying to make something happen.
All right, got up super early this morning. Just started hiking blindly. Just using Onyx and picked a spot to get to on top of a ridge to glass the south face, and I made it. Glassed up 3 does, and then I saw an elk. I saw the ridge, but just couldn't get it in the spotter. So now I'm hiking up higher, up to the top here. I'm not near any trails or anything like that. So totally away from pressure. Looks like a great area. It's a beautiful day, but I am just so whooped. So I think I'm just gonna lay here for a minute. Oh.
I try not to get upset with myself when I don't come home with an animal on trips like this. And I know we've all heard hunting's more than just taking an animal, but pretty wet, pretty cold, pretty tired, but last day, Halloween. That's when I killed my buck last year. I'm just gonna bowl him up this ridge and hopefully get something on the last day here. I did blow my chances on 2 good shooter bucks, and it really does suck coming home empty-handed, and it's something that will eat at me for a long time.
You know, I'll tell myself, you know, you wanted to go late October mountain mule deer hunting. Didn't you expect it to be hard? I did. Well, this is what hard hunting feels like. Oh man, wish I'd found this earlier, but I'm just gonna give it all I got right now. This is it.
But if I wasn't afraid to fail, I wouldn't have made the trip. I had so many things against me, even before the trip had even started, with the wildfires and everything, and I could have took that refund if I wanted it and just stayed home, but I knew that's not the story I wanted to tell.
Even though I'm getting my butt kicked, this is still pretty freaking awesome. All right, last little bit here behind the glass in the last evening. All I'm seeing is just these elk in here.
I think what really holds people back from doing things in life is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of the risk, fear of failure, fear of what other people might think if you fail. But all I could control at this point in the hunt was my effort. I gave everything I had up through the last day, to where I physically had a hard time packing out back to the truck.
Now, either way though, it was a great hunt, it was a great adventure, and I don't know, we'll see if something wants to step out, but yeah, I had a great time. Till next time.
I have so much more to learn as a backcountry hunter. I'm so excited to continue on this journey, and I just can't wait for my next adventure.